Meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
All right, folks, welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, and we have a smoking packed show today for you. Holy smokes, there's a lot going on. First off, the numbers to call into the program today, 866-496-8772. We run Compute This live. We run it like it's our job, live, every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. That's right now if you're listening live. If you are hearing this and it's not Sunday morning at 7 a.m., that means that you're hearing a pre-recorded broadcast. Nothing wrong with that. What that means, though, is if you want to call into the program, you must call Sunday morning between 7 and 8 a.m. Otherwise, you just get transferred to the Lincoln Service Center, and regular computer techs will help you with your job. They're actually better than me, but, you know, they just can't pull off the radio thing. So, you know, you use the talents that God gave you. All right, so 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program. And, of course, as we do every week, we'll be giving away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate to one lucky caller or anyone who contributes to the show as well. We're also broadcasting live this morning on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can join us there if you have not done so already. I'll be showing off some cool stuff like the brand new design of the 20th anniversary t-shirt. Oh, yeah, it's not officially till January, but, you know, when your wife makes the t-shirts, you get an advanced copy now and then. It's pretty cool. All right, so lot to do here, guys. First off, Microsoft has not released the October update, and it's November. So, yay. Other news, though, there was basically the way that this works. The reason that I'm saying, hey, it should be released any day now is Microsoft discovers a problem with an update. So then they fix that problem. And then they have to go through an entire release schedule where they push it out to all their insider testers. And those guys install it on their computers and report if they're having any problems. Well, then once it is good for them, Microsoft says it's probably good for everybody. So then they push it out to everybody. Now, the problem is every time they push it out to the insider testers, they have found a different unrelated problem. So there was a problem with zip files, which most of us would never use, would never have a problem with. But basically, if you were trying to compress a bunch of files into a zip archive to make them smaller so you could email the pictures or whatever, sometimes files just wouldn't make it into the archive or make it out of the archive. And that's a bad thing. So you want to have reliability. So Microsoft fixed that bug. That bug is currently being tested by insiders as of this moment. And it's been out for a couple days to insiders. So that means that we are looking at a release anytime now. So as a reminder, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time on the program today, Microsoft pushes out updates to the Windows operating system every 6 months. Let me correct. They push out updates the second Tuesday of every month. They push out upgrades every 6 months. The upgrades are not little Windows updates or service packs or anything like that. They are a whopping brand spanking new whole versions of Windows 10. They are the entire thing. They install a clean new copy of Windows over here. They take all your stuff from over here and they pick it up and they drop it into the new version. And if everything goes according to plan, you have the new version of Windows 10. All of your programs are there, all of your files are there, and your life goes on uninterrupted. In theory, you should not even realize that the update even happened. Okay, now that we've all had our time in Utopia land, let's get back down to real world land. In real world land, the updates are an absolute unmitigated disaster almost every time. They're so bad. After the third one, we actually created a product called Schrock Safe Upgrade, and we call it Safe Upgrade because with Safe Upgrade, if your computer isn't going to install the update safely, it doesn't allow it to install. Okay, so that's great. It's not sure upgrade. It's not like, hey, we guarantee you're going to get the upgrade installed, or we'll come over and do it for you on your computer in your home or something like that. It's not like that. However, we have two different services on our website. If you go to SchrockInnovations.com, and you can buy this if you're anywhere. You don't have to be geographically close. So if you're listening in Des Moines, for example, where we have the show airing on WHO. Hello, WHO listeners. We don't have a service center in Des Moines yet. So why would I get this? Because if something goes wrong, Schrock can't help me. That's what the Schrock desk is for. We can actually help you over the internet. Remember where I said if you called 866-496-8772 any other time, it would go to the Lincoln Service Center and you can get help? Yeah, there you go. So that's the deal. So basically with the Schrock Safe upgrade, it installs this new version of Windows. This is version 1809 is what we're looking for. It installs it on your computer safely. And if it can't install it safely, then we can do a Schrock desk and install it for you. You know, there's an upcharge to have a technician install it for you. We charge $80 to install it with a technician. Or if you buy Schrock Safe upgrade on the website, it's only $50. So if you are concerned, which most people rightfully are, because the first iteration of this update deleted all your data. That's bad. The second iteration of the update caused many computers to blue screen. The third iteration of the update apparently has a problem with zip files. So every time they release this, there seems to be another problem, and they seem to have to go back to the drawing board and fix it. Now, never fear, if you have 1809, if Schrock Safe Upgrade worked for your computer and you've got it installed, these little updates that Microsoft is issuing will come to you as regular patches. So you're not going to have to worry about it. If you got your 1809 installed, if Safe Upgrade installed, completed successfully, good to go, done, you're not going to have to do anything else. You are done. I'm not talking to you. If you were not able to get your Safe Upgrade to install correctly, sit tight. Microsoft has not pushed it out yet. We can still do it in the Service Center, but if you want to try to do it at home, you have to sit tight for a little bit longer. Hopefully this coming week, Microsoft will push out that new version, and then we'll let everybody know that that new version is out and available and that they should run their Safe Upgrade again. All right, so there's that. That's your 1809 update. This just it. All right, now the real news of the day. You remember in previous shows how we talked about all these patches for the Spectre and Meltdown vulnerabilities. Those were the hardware vulnerabilities that were mostly present in Intel processors. Some of them were also present in AMD processors. But basically, these are hardware problems. There are flaws in the way that the processors work that can be manipulated to get any information out of the computer. And nobody, going back to the 90s, ever envisioned that this stuff could be manipulated in the way that it's being manipulated now. So basically, there's a design flaw in every processor ever made, including the most recent processors, including your 8th gen Intel chips. It has to do with multi-threading. Multi-threading is the process by which all the different cores and the different chips inside your processor can work together to achieve a faster speed overall. The problem is multi-threading is very predictable. It has to be predictable. It's a timing thing, right? It has to be predictable. And as a result, to get the fastest possible speed from the processor, everything works at the fastest possible speed inside the processor, which is a predictable speed. Okay, so let's start there. So Spectre and Meltdown come along, and they are mitigated by software patches. Now, these are hardware problems fixed with software patches. What that means is, easiest way to explain it, if your car has a transmission that is physically broken, if your car will not go forward when you're in drive, but it will go in reverse when you want to back up, I could send a software patch to your car that turns on your backup camera and just tell you to drive in reverse everywhere you go. It'll be a little slower, take a little getting used to, but you will get from point A to point B eventually, right? I can't send you a software patch that fixes your physically broken transmission in your car. Just can't do that. That's the same thing here. They can't send a software patch that fixes this predictability problem, but they can send a patch that can mitigate the problem. The way they do that is they change the timing of the multi-threading. And it sounds innocuous. We're gonna adjust the timing so it's not predictable. That sounds great, right? So here you have this processor that's going 1,000 miles an hour, doing great, smoking fast, baby. And it's fast because everything's working like a well-oiled machine. All the cylinders are banging in the right speed. Everything's going great. And now we're going to randomize the timing a little bit. Okay, so you randomize the timing a little bit. The net effect, it's going to make it safe. It's not predictable now, so it's safe. You can't be hacked. But because the timing is not working optimally anymore, you're going to be a little bit slower than you were before. Okay? And each individual patch they released made you a little bit slower, which isn't a big deal. But when you release like 7 of them at only 5%, it's only a 5% speed hit, right? 7 times 5 is 35. Is that right? Check my math. Yeah, it's 35. 35. That's 35% of your computer speed. If my division works out, that's over a third. of the speed of your processor, 1/3 of your computer. Now, I want you to take your laptop and I want you to cut off the right third, okay? This is like math class. We're going to do fractions, kids, okay? Santa loves math. He's always talking about whole cubed, okay? Cut off the right third of your laptop. Whoosh, it's gone. That's, in essence, what these patches have done. Now there's another one. There's a new vulnerability called Port Smash. It's the same thing all over again. And in the tech paper, Intel says, yes, this is a problem. There is, and they strongly suspect that other processors also have this problem. In other words, it's not just us. I'm sure AMD has the problem too, and they might. No one's tested it yet. And there's no patch. There's not a patch for the Intel one yet, but there's going to be a patch here soon that's going to take yet another 5% of your computer speed from you. So one of the things we had with the 1809 update, the brand new version of Windows, people reported this time around, these updates, remember, they come out every 6 months. This time around, I don't know what the deal was with this update, but it took forever to install. And I don't mean like, sometimes you have a Windows update that takes like an hour, and that's a long time. No, we're talking, I let it go overnight and it wasn't done slow. That is because the processors in the computers have been slowed in the way that they interact specifically with solid state or with their hard drives, with all the mechanical hard drives in the computers. So they've been slowed down to the point where the computer is running slow. Then the patch was bad on top of it, so you had to try it a couple times sometimes. And now you're going to get another update here probably next month that's going to take another 5% of your computer speed. Now, it's easy to be upset about it because obviously you're losing the performance of your computer. It makes your computer run slower and you think, golly, I need a new machine. This is ridiculous. And I don't want to buy a new computer right now. I don't have it in the budget. Maybe you just bought this computer 2 or 3 years ago and you think it's not that old, not realizing that, HPs and Dells are designed to last 18 months before you replace them. You've had it for 2 or 3 years, you're doing great. In Nebraska, we tend to be a little more frugal and stuff like that. So, I mean, in the Midwest in general, we tend to be more frugal than on the coast where they just replace things for whatever. I had a whim today. So anyway, the bottom line here, guys, is what we have a way that we can fix this for you. Don't buy a new computer just because your computer is getting slower. If you're looking for an excuse to buy a new computer, this is a great excuse. If you're wanting to save some money to fix the computer so you can get a couple more years out of it before you have to replace it and do the economically smart thing, the economically smart thing is to take out that old mechanical hard drive that's slowing everything down and replace it with a solid state hard drive. Now, this is going to sound silly. And people, okay, if we have 866-496-8772, guys, if we have replaced a solid state hard drive in your computer, we've been doing dozens of them a week in each service center. So I know there's somebody listening out there right now that we have replaced your hard drive. Please give us a call, 866-496-8772. I want to hear from you to have you tell us the difference that it made in how your computer runs. Because I can sit here and preach it all day long, but if one of you calls in and talks about how it's helped your computer out, that is going to speak volumes. I mean, literally we had one caller or one computer in the service center that I worked on that had a 4-minute boot time that by switching out to a solid state went down to 16 seconds. Yeah, that's amazing. Patch installs, the 1809 update, takes about 25 minutes on a solid state hard drive. The fastest mechanical drives we saw took over an hour. Faster boot up time, faster shutdown time, faster switching between programs. If you type on your computer and you're typing along and, see, I was in that weird pocket of school where I never had to learn to touch type. So I don't hunt and peck. I know where all the keys are. I just peck frantically. But it requires me to look at the keyboard so I can see where my little birdie fingers are pecking. So I'm not looking at the screen. So if you're looking at the keyboard and you're pecking away and you look up at the screen and it's like somebody else is still typing because it's catching up, you need a solid state hard drive. Your computer is running really, really, really slow. It's going to make the computer run really, really hot. So if you put your hands on your laptop and it's hot to the touch, it's because it's working its tail off because it doesn't have a solid state hard drive. The processor is running 30% slower than it used to run. And the demand on the processor has actually gone up in the last 6 months. So you're trying to get more work from your laptop or your computer with less resources, which is going to generate more heat because it's going to work harder. We can fix that at Schrock. It's a great time to have us do that. We have the solid state drives in stock. And you can just come in. It's an afternoon thing. It's like, when the guy says, in one afternoon, we can take care of those wrinkles and crow's feet, take them right off your face. One afternoon, no pain. It's that kind of thing. So, and how much does it cost? Okay. A lot of it will depend on how big of a solid state drive you need. So if you need a ginormous, like a 1 terabyte solid state, that's going to be more expensive than the 120 gig solid state that most people need. So basically, in the middle here, let's assume that you need a 240 gig solid state to hold all of your gigabytes of data, all your pictures and files, and give you some room so that you can grow in the future so you're not obsolete next week. So that's a $200 hard drive. And then we're running a special on it where instead of the normal 2 hours of labor to get it removed and cloned and put in and everything, we're just doing it for 1 hour, because most people, when they're having us replace the mechanical drive, their drive is healthy. So if we're going from a healthy drive to a healthy drive, we only charge 1 hour of labor for that. If we're going from a damaged drive to a healthy drive, those clones are a little bit more tricky because the drive is bad. So there's 2 hours there. So you're talking $300. And the average cost of a new laptop starting at $700 before we start talking about data transfers and warranties and everything else. And is your software going to be compatible and all the setup that goes into a new computer? You know, you're easily at $800-900 by the time that's done. So $300 versus $800 or $900 for a couple more years of time in your laptop. We had one guy bring in a Windows XP laptop because he had it running a piece of industrial equipment and it had to be Windows XP. So we put a solid state in it for him and the thing flew. It was literally as fast as one of our new computers. And that's the big thing. You know, when you buy one of Schrock's new computers, you're getting that solid state technology built into the computer. And that's one of the reasons, like, people come into the shop and they look at the Asus computers we have. We had one guy do this with the holiday special laptop. Came in and he asked about the specs and he said, well, I can buy that same computer online for, $900. Well, you can buy the base model for $900. So do we. And then we go through and we modify everything. We change everything that can be changed out to get it faster and better so that this computer is actually running a lot faster than the same model computer you'd buy anywhere else. You can come into our shop and pick up that Asus laptop and go on Amazon and buy the same Asus laptop, but it's not the same Asus laptop. Your experience on that laptop will be poor, honestly, without the modifications. And those modifications that we make to those laptops to make them so fast and so amazing, to make them solid state laptops, those are the same modifications that I'm proposing we make to your existing computer. It doesn't matter if it's a laptop or a desktop, and you'll get all that speed back. All right. So if you're in that boat right now and you're thinking, if I didn't have to buy a new computer, I could spend some money on other gifts for Christmas this year, or maybe I could take that vacation. Maybe you're just going to Branson, This is one way you can save the money. 866-496-8772. Got to take a quick break here. When we come back, guys, do you have an iPhone X, an iPhone 8? That'd be the ones they released last year, the $1,000 iPhones that came out last year. Apple is now throttling them. Yes, they're slowing down your iPhone. So for those of you who are like, I don't have to do anything to my computer because now I do everything on my iPhone. Well, they're throttling that too. And I can't even put a solid state in your iPhone for you. So we're going to tell you what's going on with the iPhone. Also coming up, Stuxnet. You remember Stuxnet? That industrial virus that was like really, really, really hard to get rid of, and it has like destroyed Iranian centrifuges. Yeah, apparently it's running wild in the U.S. now through all of our industrial computers, and no one can seem to get rid of it. Also coming up on the program, have you tried to log into your Gmail lately? Has it told you you can't? Yeah, the one piece of tech you better have on your computer, or you're not going to be able to use any Google services anymore. All that and your calls coming up on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff. And that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, welcome back in, folks. Don't hit the microphone. That's a rule one there. Welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where if you haven't gathered by now, we tend to fix a lot of computers. We are the largest computer repair company in the Midwest. We fix more computers in a week than most other shops see in a month. And we do it with a smile on our face. In fact, this week, I'm proud to say that this week we had more 5-star Google reviews than in any week of our company's history. We were averaging 4 a day. 4 5-star reviews a day. Do you know how hard that is to do? Part of the situation, we're training a lot of new staff, especially in the Lincoln Service Center. And so when you have staff transition, there's always a blip in the service level because the new staff comes in and they're not sure what to do. They're training, they're new, right? And now that they've got 3 or 4 months under their belt, they get it. They're on track with the service need. We find a solution for people. I had a call and this is off topic a little bit, but I had a call in the Lincoln Service Center where a customer had called in a few months before. And when I called him, it was because his endpoint was expiring and he's been a customer forever. So I was like, you don't want this to expire, do you? And he was like, well, actually, I had a problem with the last time I called in for service. We weren't sure we were coming back. And, alarm bells go off in my head like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And he tells me that, well, the last time that, that he dealt with one of my people there, he has the same Canon printer that Jesus used, and he wants it to work with Windows 10. And this is not an uncommon request because especially with printers, the newer printers are so much more fragile and so much more expensive to use. If you can keep an old printer working that was made back 8-9 years ago, it's a lot cheaper to operate that printer. And he says he loves the printer. It does everything he needs to do, but except Canon stopped supporting the printer for the newer versions of Windows 10. So now the Canon software won't run on it, which means it'll still print because Windows 10 just installs the print driver. The scanner is still installed, but he can't get it to scan because the Canon software won't scan. And so my guys told him correctly, hey, sorry, it's not supported by Canon anymore. You need to buy a new printer. That is technically the right way to do it. Now, on the other hand, one of the things that makes Schrock different, that gives us that edge over some other shops in town, that has allowed us to be one of the best computer repair shop in the Midwest, is the fact that we don't quit there. Now, we can't rewrite the Canon software. Let's be realistic. But what I can do is I can do a search and try to find a workaround. So I apologize to him, first of all. I'm sorry about that. Well, maybe they exhausted everything and maybe you really do need a new printer, but let me remote in and take a look real quick. Well, they did the same thing and they couldn't fix it, Thor. And I'm not saying that, I'm the better technician. That's not the moral of the story here, because any of my guys now would do this. 3 months ago when they were brand new, they wouldn't have known to do this. So now, we do a quick Google search. We find out that there's an open source scanning program designed specifically to be simple. You install that on the computer. It'll use whatever scanner is available. His scanner is installed, so it works still. There's drivers for it. So we install the program, scanner works, and he's back in business with the scanner and printer that he loves. And then he said, Thor, you just got my business back. And it's the little things like that, that one little blip that can cause you to lose a customer. And so we always do our best. I mean, sometimes that best is the best we have at the moment. Sometimes that best doesn't measure up. A lot of times it does. But as the staff gets more and more experience, these new kids that we have coming in, my gosh, they're amazing. They blow my mind. If these people would have been available back when I started Schrock 20 years ago, I can't imagine where our company would be right now. They're just really good people. They care about people. They care about making technology work for those people. And boom, they have the skills to do the job. They do now. So I was going to say, if you have a problem like that, give us a call at Schrock. We're here to help you out with computer repair. We're here to help you out with website design and development. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on the show here. A lot of websites now have a great big not secure in the corner. So as holiday shopping season starts, I want to warn you about that. We also do corporate service agreements. We'll come out and work on your tech in your business. We do on-sites. We'll come out to your home. Pretty much we do data recovery. If you have a bad or failed hard drive, we can get the data back for you. If it touches a computer, we handle it at Schrock. 866-496-8772. All right, so if you have an iPhone X or an iPhone 8, a few months ago, Apple had a testimony in front of Congress because if you recall, they were throttling the iPhones, the older iPhones. They were slowing them down. And, a cynical person would say they're slowing down the older phones to make them unusable for people so that they will buy newer phones or that the newer phones will look better by comparison. Apple said it's because over time, the battery loses its ability to hold a charge. And if the phone goes up to its full speed capability, it can actually not have enough energy and cause the phone to turn off. So to ensure that all of our customers have a good experience with their iPhone, we must slow the maximum speed down so that it doesn't turn off once in a while, possibly. So we're going to slow everybody down. It just so happens that it also makes your phone run really, really slow, makes you want to buy a new phone. So the lovely Kimberly was telling me her iPhone X seems to be running slower than it used to. And sure enough, Apple announced this week that they have started throttling iOS 12.1, started throttling the speed of your iPhone X and your iPhone 8. So we're going to post a link up on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations because not everybody has an iPhone and it's kind of technical, but there is a procedure that you can go through to check the battery health of your iPhone to see if you're being throttled, and then you can turn off that capability as well. That was the little thing that they threw out to Congress so they didn't get in trouble, basically. But we're going to tell you how to check that also here. All right, 866-496-8772. When we come back, China stealing Micron's memory technology. Stuxnet's flying around. Secure socket layer certificates on websites are saying secure and not secure all over the place. And you can't log into your Gmail. Oh, yeah. And if you have an Apple Watch, I'm going to tell you 2 ways you can brick it. All that and more coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Carol McHugh. President Trump dropping names and warning supporters what'll happen if Democrats carry the day Tuesday.
Brian Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the legendary genius Maxine Waters, if they take power, they will try to wipe away all that we've done and at the same time double and triple and quadruple your taxes. And we're not going to let it happen.
The president in Pensacola, Florida, Saturday night. Meanwhile, former VP Joe Biden told an Ohio crowd that America's character is on Tuesday's ballot. The weather may be a factor for much of the country election day.
Big storm moving through. It's going to be really, really windy and really rainy, especially across parts of the Ohio Valley. So it won't be for anybody an all-day washout, but there will be rain from time to time.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Some patchy fog and mist early this morning. Otherwise, chilly conditions. Gusty northwesterly winds will be going up to 25 miles per hour at times today. That'll keep things feeling very chilly. Temperatures only warming into the mid and upper 40s this afternoon. The fog and mist will move out, but the clouds will be sticking around. Maybe a couple of peaks of sunshine later today. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
That's right. Get up. The time change. Woohoo! All right. Welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 866-496-8772. Coming up on the program here today, we have China stealing more stuff. And this is confirmed, the confirmed theft of stuff. The United States is like suing China over this. Stuxnet flying around all over the place in the U.S. Example of computers that have come into the shop that have been sped up by solid state hard drives, or in one guy's case, we had a guy in the shop. Okay, I'll tell you about the guy in the shop. Don't let me forget. If I forget, call in and tell me. The guy in the shop that was mining Bitcoin and didn't know it. Then we'll talk about that guy. All right, 866-496-8772. Let's jump into those phones. Terry, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Oh, I don't need any help, but Parker at your Papillion store has helped me numerous times, and I just wanted to give him a 10 thumbs up. He should be Tech of the Year.
10 thumbs?
10 thumbs.
Wow.
He's the real deal. He's the real deal.
Well, thank you. I will.
Super guy.
You know, and that's a great example. Parker was one of the technicians that was hired in fact, he's up for a 90-day evaluation. He had a really bad day a couple days ago. Like some joker rear-ended him and totaled his car.
Oh, boy.
And so then I'm like, I guess you're going to want that 90-day evaluation now because they usually come with a raise. You know, that's.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yes,
give him a good
yes,
one.
yes, I will.
Give him a good one because he's the real deal.
I will do that. Thank you very much for the call, Terry. I really appreciate you calling and letting me know if
Okay.
I always hear when things don't go well. So to hear when things go well is welcome. And it also helps. And honestly, guys, it helps those guys out. When you leave a Google review and you name a technician in the Google review, you have no idea the impact you have on that technician's financial future. I mean, when it's documented, I know what tech did it, and I know that this is a review that a customer genuinely left because it was heartfelt, kind of like this caller here. It impacts their raises and their pay rates, guys, because I want to reward the technicians who are giving the level of service that I want to give in the service centers. 866-496-8772. See, it's that easy. He's in the drawing for the 25. He's a shoe-in right now. So if you want to take it away from him, you can go ahead and call in anytime. All right. So what is going on here with China and Micron? Micron is a company that makes memory chips. In fact, there's a good probability that there is some device in your computer right now running a Micron chip, whether that's a stick of RAM or a memory chip on your graphics card or even in your phone. You could even have the Micron chip in your phone. So these Micron chips are everywhere, and DRAM is the new fast type of RAM that everybody uses. And there's different speeds and different technologies. But basically, if you're going to build any kind of a computing device, whether that is a phone, a laptop, or a nuclear missile, it's going to need memory chips. And you're going to want, as a country, to be able to make your own memory chips. Unfortunately, it's a very tricky thing to do. So what China decided to do, they were not able, not all hacking or not all theft of intellectual property is hacking. They didn't hack into Micron servers through their super micro motherboards or whatever with their rice grain chips on there and steal all the stuff. They did this in the old-fashioned way. They approached individuals working at Micron and made them offers they couldn't refuse to come work for another company that happened to be owned by a Chinese firm. And that Chinese firm was trying to get into the business of making memory. Now, of course, all these guys have non-competes and non-disclosures. You remember back in the day, the CEO of Pepsi, or the Pepsi company, Pepsi-Cola, wanted to hire the CEO of Coca-Cola. And they offered him tons of money to come work for Pepsi. And he said, okay, I agree. And so he put in his notice, said, I'm leaving, I'm going to work for Pepsi. And Coca-Cola sued Pepsi, saying you can't hire this guy. It is illegal to hire this guy because he has a non-compete and a non-disclosure, and it would be impossible for him, with the knowledge in his head, to fulfill his role as the CEO of Pepsi and the fiduciary responsibilities that ensue with that, given what he knows about how Coca-Cola's process and our secret formula and everything else works. It is not possible that he could do his job without running afoul with those agreements. I don't remember how that came out, but I don't think he got the job. So it's very similar here. These guys were working for Micron. They were enticed away, which is not uncommon in tech companies. Heck, my entire Lincoln Service Center got poached about 90 days ago by a financial services company in Lincoln. So it happens, right? Now, most of the time, it's not by direct competitors, though. So this was a direct competitor in another country. It just so happens the company that hired these scientists and engineers away is wholly owned by the Chinese government. These guys were individually hired with the sole intent that they would teach the Chinese engineers how to make memory chips. And of course, they didn't tell the guys that when they hired them. They didn't know that was what was going on. They probably didn't even know who actually owned the company. But anyway, long story short, China is actually being sued right now by the United States government for theft of intellectual property. And this is one of the things that when everybody, all the smoke and mirrors about the trade wars and everything, the trade deficit and all that stuff, a lot of that is actually okay. And it's weird to think about it that way, but we buy a lot of stuff that's made in China. And China buys a lot of securities that are made in the U.S. They buy treasuries, they buy stocks, they buy companies, they buy houses and land and stuff. I remember in the 80s, everyone was like, oh, the Japanese are going to buy the whole country. Oh, I'm not speaking Japanese, Now, Sony is a Japanese company, right? That was a big deal. Sony, oh my gosh, Sony's going to run everything. I think the Venom movie did okay, So, it's one of those things where, yes, it's easy to get up in arms about it. But, trade is a good thing. Theft of intellectual property is the real concern, because you're not trying to trade for goods. You're trying to steal the ability to make the goods yourself so you don't have to trade for them anymore. And that's not cool. So that's what's going on with that one there. So just keep an eye on that one in the news. That one's going to go somewhere because that's an actual lawsuit. 866-496-8772. All right. So I mentioned we had Stuxnet floating around. So let me see. We got one more break, right? Let's go ahead and take that break now. And then we're going to come back and we'll run a long fourth segment because we got a lot to do. We got the Stuxnet thing. I've got the guy in the shop mining Bitcoin. Can't forget that one. We've got Google, you not being able to log into your Gmail account or any Google account if you don't have this piece of software installed on your computer. So whether or not you have it, you want to make sure you've got it. Also, Apple is bricking things. So I'm going to tell you, if you want to run a joke on everybody on your floor at work, right? I'm going to tell you the one thing that you can do to permanently destroy every iPhone and iWatch on the floor. It doesn't involve a hammer. That'd be too easy. And no one would even know. In fact, it would sound kind of funny. And we'll tell you what that is coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, long seggy here. We got 15 minutes. This is going to be awesome. 866-496-8772. Cheryl writes on Facebook, I would like to tell you how helpful and kind Kyle has been to me over the phone and in person. I've called in several times with various problems, and he is always very kind and patient with me. As I have just finished physical therapy, he came out and picked up my computer, checked it out, returned it the next day. The only problems with Kyle is he won't let me adopt him. I was like, oh, she has a problem. Wait. No, he won't let me. He's not up for adoption. All right. Well, thank you very much, Cheryl. I appreciate the kind words, and I'll pass that on to Kyle. That's really funny. I'm going to copy and paste that over to him at the end of the show today. He'll get a kick out of that one. 866-496-8772. Okay. So here's the deal. In the shop this week, I had a customer who took his computer security mondo seriously, like big time serious. So he didn't use any Google products at all because they track you, right? So he was using the DuckDuckGo browser, which I know, Keith, you love to use, DuckDuckGo. It's basically a search engine that doesn't track anything, and there's no ads and stuff like that. So DuckDuckGo, that's what he used for his web surfing, for his browsing. He had a VPN installed, and a VPN is a virtual private network. Basically what that means is everything he did on his computer was bounced off a computer somewhere else so that nobody knew what his IP address was, and every time he went on the internet, he got a different IP address so that no one could track him from event to event across the internet. So secure, right? He had not one but 2 different antivirus programs running on the computer, keeping everything nice and secure. So he brings the computer into me because he's having trouble with it. We do the initial, check of the computer. Then I go to call him with the results, and I get a recorded message when I call him. This phone is protected by Robo No More. Please enter the number 55 to continue. And you got to type 55. Okay. And you go. And then it says the caller is not accepting calls at this time. Or okay. And then he calls right back every time. Like he's like, I don't know how, but it's super. The guy's security is off the hook. I mean, he is secure, right? Which was weird when I found like several Bitcoin mining Trojans, banking Trojan, a whole bunch of all kinds of garbage all over the computer. Moral of the story here, guys, is not every antivirus program is the same. He was running the Wise antivirus program, and it missed everything. And he was running McAfee, I think, and it missed everything. It was terrible. So with that said, the reason, one of the reasons you want to make sure you've got a good antivirus product out there is because there's stuff like Stuxnet floating around still. Now, Stuxnet was the virus that was released reportedly, never been confirmed, by the U.S. and Israel into the Iranian centrifuges, and because they air gap that facility so that it has no internet connectivity, so you got to get it in on a thumb drive. So this virus was designed to be spread by removable media, which is why in the U.S. government, if you're a government contractor or you work on a government installation, you are not allowed to use removable media because of this very problem. So you plug this into the computer and it infects the system, and it would cause the centrifuges to spin weirdly, causing them to spin apart and break. And they would do it randomly, so no one knew why. And it spoofed all the controls. So all the controls said that everything was spinning normally, and if you went down and looked, they were just going crazy down there. Well, that virus is also intended it was intended to impact industrial systems made by certain companies. Now we're finding that in the wild, this Stuxnet thing is all over the place. It's in the United States. It's in all kinds of industrial computers, because people with industrial systems that are air-gapped, they make the false assumption, if I'm not connected to the internet, I don't need antivirus. And that's a false assumption, because you can get a virus more ways than through the internet. So if you are like my customer that ended up spending about $700 to get everything cleaned up and upgraded. He did the solid state thing and everything else. But he spent about $700 to get it cleaned up and working properly. Now that it's cleaned up and working right, the system is fast, it's clean, it's got Symantec Endpoint running on it, making sure everything is running good. Symantec Endpoint, I mean, guys, it's not a coincidence. If you look at the virus outbreak activity reports on the Symantec research map, that they're in the Midwest, right over, basically over the eastern edge of Nebraska, western edge of Iowa, there's a lower concentration of infections. It's because we've got thousands of people running Symantec Endpoint. That is why it is helping. It is keeping people safe and preventing them from being infected. Now, fun news: the computer virus is 30 years old today. 30 years old. Happy birthday! The very first computer virus. We'll talk about that during the Aftershock. So stay tuned after the program here for the Aftershock show. That's where we talk about stuff that doesn't quite fit into the program here. 866-496-8772. Bill, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yeah, Thor, I have I think a simple question. I'm kind of old hat. I don't want to change my word processor I've been using for forever.
Okay.
I've got the old version of 97.
Gotcha.
On 3, I've got it on 4 machines, 5 machines. 3 of them, and this is a personal change. I've got 3 of them that are Windows 10. Am I going to lose that ability to use that, or do I heard you talk about you being able to.
You should have already lost that ability, honestly.
Well, I haven't yet.
Yeah,
so.
You should have already. I mean, Office 97 is not compatible with Windows 10. It wasn't compatible with the first version of Windows 10, and all the subsequent versions that have come after it, it's not compatible. Now, not compatible can mean a lot of things. Now, it might be able to run, and it might be able to open, but there are certain functionalities that may not work properly if you try to do some more advanced things like mail merging and stuff like that. You're going to have problems. The big reason is Office 97 it was always assumed that program would have complete unfettered access to the C drive. And that is not the case anymore for security reasons. And so when a program assumes it's got complete unfettered access to something that it doesn't, and it was never programmed with the thought that what happens if the C drive goes away? You're going to cause unknown errors, weird things are going to happen, lockups are going to happen. So like I said, it is a small miracle that you're running that right now, because we literally were trying to get Office 2003 installed on a computer running the new version of Windows 1809, and it's not compatible. The other problem is activation. Your program's going to work fine until you have to reinstall it someday. Now that one might be old enough that it was before the age of internet activation, so you may not have to you may get away with it. But anybody who's got Office 2003 or 2007, Microsoft has discontinued activation services for that. So when you get a new computer, you can install it, you can put the code in. When it goes to activate it, it says, sorry, we can't activate this. You click on telephone activation, which is the go-to usually, and it doesn't have a phone number for telephone activation anymore. So literally the programs are obsoleted. So, I mean, you got a good run out of that. You're almost as old. That program is almost as old as the first computer virus. You know?
Yeah, I know it. We started a computer club here in Central Nebraska back in the 80s, and we're still going, probably the longest one around. But I haven't found anything I can't do. I do all kinds of labeling and making fancy labels, and inserting pictures. Nothing
Well,
seems to not work with 97.
Then
so.
don't fix what's not broken, buddy. I keep on trucking, but if you 9 out of 10 people come to me and say, Thor, can I install Office 97? I'm going to say, ain't going to happen. And you apparently are the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so next time I have somebody who wants to install Office 97, Bill, I'm sending them to you. You can help them out because you're obviously the pro at this one. All right.
I don't know.
Thank you for the call, Bill. I appreciate it. All righty. Let's move on to Chuck. Welcome to the program. Chuck, how can I help you on Compute This?
Oh, I just had some very positive experience with Kyle and Brian in your Omaha office repair center, and it was a nightmare for me on the Windows 10 update this time, and they were quick, fast, and great on their service and their explanation, and short and to the point, and very efficient. Just wanted to say thank you for employing those guys.
Well, thank you for calling in and letting me know. You know, Brian is I think he's not at 90 days yet. So I think he's about 2 months in. So to hear that Brian is doing that well is a really great indicator. He's a good guy, and he's worked under Kyle almost exclusively since the beginning. So Kyle's really trained him up right over there. So thank you very much for the call, Chuck. I appreciate it. All right, so moving on here, guys. As you're doing your online shopping this year, when we've all been trained to look up in the top left corner for a secure socket layer to make sure that the website is safe for you to enter your credit card information in. The way we've been taught to look for that is look for the green secure or the green shopping cart. There's always something green up there. Well, now Google Chrome has over half of all the internet traffic, and if your website is not running a secure socket layer, they've flipped it on its head. Used to be if it was running a secure socket layer, it says secure. Now it still does that, but now if you're not running a secure socket layer, it says not secure. And that's gotten some people, especially business owners, that don't do anything business-wise, like on their website. They're not taking payments. They're not selling products online. They don't really need a secure socket layer. But if they don't have one, they have a great big banner in the top left corner that says not secure. If you're running a church website, if you're running an organizational website, if you have a business, the last thing you want to have in the top left corner of half of your visitors is a big old thing that says not secure. We can help with that. If you're in that boat, give us a call over at Schrock Interactive. We can get that taken care of. But if you're shopping this year for holiday season, look for that secure in the top left corner before you enter your payment information to make sure you're on a legitimate website. Also here, speaking of security, Google, for new security measures, is introducing a feature that will not allow you to sign into any Google services, including Google Docs or Gmail, if you don't have Java installed on your computer. Okay, most of us have Java, right? So this isn't a big deal. Okay, Java is the program on your computer that gets updated every week. It is the program on your computer that is responsible for the most virus infections if you fail to update it, closely followed by Adobe Flash Player. If you go to a website and you have an outdated version of Java, the odds of you picking up an infection on the internet, if you did 10 Google searches, 8 out of 10 of those results would infect your computer with a virus. So having an up-to-date version of Java is super important. Some users, rather than dealing with all the updates, have decided, I'm just going to uninstall Java. And I warn them, some things may not work on the internet if you do that. And they're like, okay, whatever. Well, now one of the things that's not going to work is Google. You're not going to be able to get into any Google services unless you have Java, because it uses a Java applet to determine the security status of your login. So if you don't have Java, it can't run the security. If it can't run the security, you ain't getting in. So with that said, if you are one of those people that did uninstall Java from your computer, you're going to need to reinstall it again. So if you did that, if you know you did that, you took steps to do that. If you don't have Java, you're going to need it. If you use your Google stuff, you have Gmail, if you use Google Docs or anything like that, Google Drive, you're going to need that Java reinstalled. One of the ways that you can keep all of your third-party software up to date is with Secure Updater. Secure Updater is a program that we make at Schrock. You can get a 15-day free trial at secureupdater.com. It doesn't cost anything for the trial. We don't ask for a credit card number for you to try it, nothing like that. You get it on your computer, use it for 2 weeks. If you like it, beautiful. If you don't, then you don't. It costs a little over $2 a month on average to keep it going on your computer, but it updates all these programs on your computer within 8 hours of the release of the update. So it keeps you current and keeps you up to date. All right, funny story. If you are in a hospital, let's say, and there's an MRI machine, apparently they do something with helium in the MRI machines. I don't claim to know why the MRI machines have helium in them, but apparently there was a leak in this hospital, right? And the helium leaked out. Now, helium is okay, I'm going to say this and then someone's going to call in. Helium is a non-toxic gas. Yes, I am aware. If you huff helium exclusively, there's no oxygen in helium and you will die. Last time I said something about helium and we laughed about it, somebody called in and said, it's not funny, kids die from huffing helium. And I'm like, okay, so yes, don't huff helium. You could die. Don't huff anything besides oxygen. You could die, okay? With that disclaimer aside, now don't try this on TV, pretending stunt driver. Don't try this at home. Not a flying toy. The helium leaked out of these tanks apparently, and there's something that Apple does in their manufacturing process to the iWatch and the iPhone that requires something to resonate at a certain place, and they use helium to get it to resonate that way, and then it stays in resonance. It works, basically. But if you expose your iPhone or iWatch to copious amounts of helium, apparently they all brick. They just stop working. So on this hospital floor, this poor IT administrator, every Apple device on the floor goes offline simultaneously. Everybody's iPhone stops working. Everybody's iWatch stops working. And the guy's like, oh my gosh, we have some kind of security breach here. Oh, why is it only impacting Apple products and only personal Apple products? This must be like a major virus. No, it was just a helium leak. So not that I would advise you do this, okay, because you could die. Asterisk, asterisk, little cross sign. If you were going to huff helium to make your voice sound all high-pitched and funny, whatever you do, don't call your best friend on your iPhone and talk to them. The joke could be on you. All righty, guys. So stay tuned after the program for the Aftershock today. We have a bunch of stuff. There's a patch that came out. Apple has pulled the patch for the iWatch that bricks the iWatch. We got to the Google stuff. We got all the important stuff covered that we need to get covered. That was just the top layer of everything, guys. So in the Aftershock today, we'll go through a few more news stories, dig a little bit deeper. All these news stories also get posted on our website. At the website at Facebook, actually, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. The whole Facebook show gets posted on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. So if you are like that gentleman that takes his security super seriously and you just don't use Facebook because you don't use Facebook, you can watch the show on our website at SchrockInnovations.com if you missed a portion of it today. Otherwise, you can always pick it up on Facebook. It stays in the feed there, and we're happy to help you out. 3 locations, Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. We have open bench spots in all 3 locations. If you come on into the service center, we're happy to help you out and do everything we can to make your computer work the way you want it to work. That's what we do at Schrock. We've been doing it now for nearly 20 years. Woohoo! All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the program today. We'll talk to you all again next Sunday. And then stay tuned, as I said, for the Aftershock. I need to draw a winner, by the way. We did get some calls here toward the end. Today's winner is Bill. Congratulations, Bill. Bill, with your Windows 97 or Office 97, you've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. And then we will see you all again next Sunday for another exciting edition of Compute This.
From the Millard Roofing Studios, we've got you.